Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. I'm Shafkat Aziz, a children's poet, once again in the studio of TEHQEEQ-U-ADAB. Today we have invited a great personality from North Kashmir district Kopara. He is a translator, he is a critic, he is a poet, he is a social companion, and his name is Zakir Malik sir. Zakir Malik, you are welcome to our studio. It's our it is the moment of exhilaration for we people, and we are feeling greatly honored to be with you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me here in your studio. Thank you.
Firstly, you introduce yourself to the viewers and tell what you are doing at the present.
Yes, sir. Actually, I'm working as a teacher in a school, and I have been working as English tutor. I'm editor-in-chief for ILA magazine, International Literature and Art magazine, and I had so many assessments to do. So, and I'm a critic as well. I work with the Media Association as well, and this is all about my biography.
Okay, Dr. Saab, Zakir Malik Saab, when did you start writing poetry, and who and what are the things that are responsible for creating a yearn in you to write poetry?
Yeah, actually, firstly, it was it was inherent in me to write something that had some logic in it.
Yeah.
And secondly, the conditions that we had been in Kashmir right from the inception. Those were certain things which actually put me in the situation to write. Why I write poetry instead of prose? It's because this is something that you can lock big things in a very small text, and the thing that somebody has told that poets are born. Poets are. I was when I was reading the 8th class, there were certain things, there were certain matters which actually put me into the state to write poetry, and the conditions currently you live in, those definitely ask you to do something if you have that capacity to express those things in a more meaningful way.
Yeah.
I chose my medium as poetry.
Okay. We would like to know from you that generally the people are of opinion that writing poetry is more difficult than prose. Do you agree with it or not?
Yeah, it's quite true. We can say that, and when it comes to poetry, we have to make a choice. We cannot use every word. You cannot write anything and call it poetry like we have these days. It's because there are certain media houses and there are certain publication houses as well, which actually publish anything, because they don't. The publication houses we have, they don't have editors, and they publish everything which the author actually gives them, and that's the problem. And poetry and prose has a lot of difference. When it comes to poetry, you have to make choice between the good words and the bad words. You have to choose between the context, how you have to pause a message in a very you have what we call that you have very little words. You have very little choice over there. You cannot write it in half a page or anything. You have to put in very small context and give a proper message in that.
Okay. You have written 2 books so far. One of them is The Veil of the Woods. Yeah, and what is the name of the second book? And please discuss the title of these very 2 books.
Yes, my second book is Sale of Memories.
Yeah.
The first book was The Veil of the Woods.
Yeah.
And The Veil of the Woods is associated with the problems we have in our environment. We have in our surroundings right now from last few years. what we call that the problems we are having in the society,
Yeah.
like dowry, okay, the what we call the drug abuse,
Yeah.
and the diversion of youth towards radicalization. And these were the things that I had in mind
Yeah.
while giving title to the book. And we are losing lives. We are losing human resource,
Yeah.
which we could have used in a proper way to build our Kashmir more and more.
Yeah.
And more so, we can also have good institutions over here. The people we have lost, we could have used them in national building.
Yeah.
And this is what what I had in mind while I chose the title, The Veil of Woods. And the second one is The Sale of the Memories. Sale of the Memories came to my mind while I was writing poetry, and it's a metaphorical title.
Yeah.
Where I have tried to give a shape to my memories I had when I was in the 8th class, and I wrote poetry, and these were certain things that were in my mind while choosing the title Sale of the Memories.
Okay, and you have gone through contemporary poetry and classical poetry. Can you tell us the difference between these two?
Yes, sir. Classical poetry. Actually, your question should have: how should we write or like classical poetry in these days or contemporary poetry? And contemporary poetry, when it comes to contemporary poetry,
Yes.
we have certain ailments, like the things that the youth today or the writers today do not have that much time to read everything, and a literature lover cannot be a poet. These are two things that cannot happen at a time.
Yes.
And somehow, if so happens, that too, in that situation, we have so many problems. Like I'll say, our environment is saying something, and we have to put a message, good message to the society, so that certain changes take place, transformation takes place. But when it comes to classical poetry, you have to go through certain phase that you are what we call it, you are just confined to certain things. You are confined to certain meters and what we call that as we use in the poetry. There's a problem that you cannot give an effective message if you go into classical poetry. And poetry keeps on changing with time. Everything keeps on changing, and so does the poetry as well.
Right.
And if you will go to the technique that was used in 90s, it will not be accepted these days, and people will not like it. And at the top, what we are intending to do is to give a message to the society. If you are not able to do that, so it's better to write the way contemporary poets have been doing. So that's what I mean with all this.
Okay, Zakir Sahab, different people define poetry in different ways. Some say it's criticism of life, some say it is the spontaneous, full of emotions. So what is poetry according to your perception?
Poetry is all the three things. While it depends on a person, how he has grown, and what things he had grown up with. Like if somebody had grown up in a family where his peers were environmentalists, he will definitely grow up in a way, and if he had that emotions in him, he will write something like that into it. And if somebody is having some other tragedy in homes, like we can say that if somebody's father has been killed or somebody's brother or anything, he will try to portray such images into it. So it's a different thing for different people. You cannot do. Yes, we can say one thing that it has a lot of aspects while it comes to the environment. A poet has. Where poet has been in. So it depends on the environment of the poet where he has been in. He will disclose the poetry in such a way.
Okay. Mostly poets are interested in music. Are you interested in music? Then we will play a song for you.
Yes.
What's your favorite song?
No, actually, I'm not that much interested in music. I have some other courses as well. But if somebody does listen to it, I also give it an ear to it.
Yeah.
But I'm not that much interested in the music.
Okay, there are
ITEHQEEQ नौमोस कलमकारों का एक मुनफरिद प्लेटफॉर्म। आइए इस प्लेटफॉर्म का इस्तेमाल करके अपनी शायरी और तहरीरों से खुद को कौम के सामने पेश कीजिए। ज़बान और अदब की खिदमत में पेश ITEHQEEQ इदारा तहकीक व अदब जम्मू एंड
Kashmir. Some write to entertain the people, some express their own words, keeping the prevailing conditions in view. We have got social conflicts here, religious conflicts here, political conflicts here. Do you think the writer should change the theme, rather the subject of their writing, in order to wake the people up to get rid of this conflict?
What I would like to tell, what I would like to explain about this is what we call poetry's writings are more specifically when it comes to poetry. Poetry is something that happens in an environment.
Yeah.
You definitely write something that had happened in your environment. If you are writing, if you are living in 21st century and you are portraying your ideas of the 19th century, then it's of no use. It's better to mention such events, such things that is happening right now in your environment, and it has a potential. It has a potential. It will keep on growing. That when you write it, it becomes history. Okay, so it gets locked in the book, and once there is some scholar who will research on the subjects that have been given thought to and that have been written in this time, there will definitely be someone who will read you and see what you have written in the book. And if you would have portrayed the ideas, and if you would have portrayed all the society, all the landscape of the society, like the culture, like the marriages like the way we perform our marriages, and like the way we greet each other, and like the way we dress.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the things that if we put in our writings,
yeah,
this will definitely help at some time to the researchers to get a message what was happening in this time when you have wrote the book.
Yeah.
And it's better to write what is happening around than to put something that had already happened and has no value to write.
Okay.
Like I don't say that writing has no value, but what I mean with this is you should write what's happening in your surroundings, rather than writing something that had already been caged in hundreds of books and lying in our library.
Okay, though Kashmir has got a lot of poets, but some poets are avoiding now expressing their feelings, their emotions in the form of verses. They say that poetry has got no value in front of the general public, and I meant to say that Kashmiri people don't read more poetry than prose. Do you agree with it?
Yes, actually nobody wants to write, nobody wants to take pen and be a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And we should always run towards the perfection, even if it does not come to us, but we have to go to it. Okay, so the problem is that we want to do things in a very what we call it, in very hurry.
Yeah.
And that is the problem that is the problem with all of us.
Yes.
Even if your age is 30, 40 or anything like around it does not matter if you are 40 and you will be a perfectionist. Even a 10-year kid, even a 20-year adolescent can be perfectionist, because if he would have read a lot of books, he would have studied a lot about that subject. Okay, so
more than that person who is 40 or 30 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I mean to say is that the more you research, the more you study, the more knowledge comes to you, the more perfection comes to you.
Yeah.
That is why all these things, your answer lies in the same, your question.
Okay. Wordsworth says, he is a poet of nature, he says that poetry should be written in layman's language. How do you say regarding this?
Yes, sir. So I can say that we are not the native speakers of the English language,
Yeah.
and even the native speakers don't use the words that we have been keeping in our book and we have been keeping in our articles. And whenever somebody tries to study that, read that article, he gets a little meager message. So why we write to give a message, but when we write, we cannot, that message does not pass effectively to the reader. It's better to write in a simple language. And when it comes to poetry, if you want to be great, if you want to run towards the greatness, then definitely you should write in simple words. But idea will matter. Definitely idea will matter. It does not matter the words you choose, but how you write and the words you choose for that, so that effectively message can be transferred to. When like I have write my books, I have wrote to give a message to my society, to give a message to the world. What I have tried to convey to the world through my writings. So better is to write in simple words. Where you don't have choice, then you can use the. I don't tell you that you have to just disgruntle your writings by using such words that have no value, that have very less what we call it neat-hackedness.
Importance, rather.
Yes, importance. But where you have choice, if you have more words, so that message can be passed in an effective way, in an influential way, better is to use simple and lucid language.
Okay. Being a hammered social activist and a social campaigner, what's your piece of advice to the drug addicted youth and those who waste rather squander their time on social media?
Yes, sir. But I don't think when we are on social media we waste our time. The artists we have found we have found all those have got the platform from social media. It is only the social media that has given a shape to their art. And tell me about one media organization that had went to somebody who had talent other than the social media that promoted him. Okay, this is the first point. And the second thing is you talked about the drug addicts. I like to tell them that don't waste your energy, don't you waste your life. It's better to use it for your nation. It's better to use it for your parents that have done a lot to you, a lot to grow you up, to add to your growth. It's you can have a lot of things to do. You can do something for the society.
Right.
Yeah, that's my message for you.
So we being Kashmiris, we have to preserve our Kashmiri culture. So we the writers have to preserve the Kashmiri language. So do you think you being so hammered writer should try to write in Kashmiri in order to preserve this language?
Definitely we are Kashmiris. We should try, even if I don't know how to, even if we don't find many tutors who can guide us to write Kashmiri, to speak even Kashmiri as well. I would like to mention here cultural hegemony, that I have wrote a poem. You can read that as well. I have tried to convey to the people of Kashmir that we are losing our culture. How we are losing our culture? If we were wearing a farran, why should it harm your influence if you wear a farran, if you put on a farran, or if you are talking in English? Sorry, if you talk in Kashmiri, why should it harm anyone? If Pakistanis are speaking in Urdu, if Indians are speaking in Hindi, if English are speaking in English, then why we should not speak in
Kashmiri language?
Why should we feel shameful while we talk in Kashmiri
language? Okay, we would like you to be the part of our organization. Would you be the part of our organization?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, good then. Then what would be your contribution to promote the organization that is إدارة تحقيق وأدب جمهورية كشمير.
Anything that you ask me, anything that I can give up to you, I will always be at your doorsteps. Whenever you call me, I will be there to help you out from there. And the second thing is that I can give you more research where you can reach out to more people who need promotion. And I'm so much thankful to all the team, especially Shaheen Saab and to you as well, who give me some time to talk to you and express my views before.
Yeah. Zakir Saab, we would like you to share your knowledge and experience with we people more and more, but the time doesn't allow we people to be here with you. So because we have got that dearth of time here, so next time, inshallah, if God wishes, you will be invited once again to our studio. For today, it was enough. Allah Hafiz.